प्रपन्नपारिजाताय तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः. Om. Dear friends, in the last episode we were just seeing what Krishna is telling Arjuna. I told you Krishna is telling some high philosophy to Arjuna from our point of view. For Arjuna, of course, it was something which he already had heard from the Gurus, because Arjuna, I told you, Arjuna was a Kshatriya, and Kshatriyas in those days, they were supposed to learn the Vedas. So Krishna was telling what is there in the Vedas. So the discussion between Krishna and Arjuna should be taken as the discussion between two highly educated people, and then that is now being explained to us. We are in this at the level of, say, 5th standard or so. So for us it needs some elaboration, it needs some explanation. So that is what we are now doing. So I was telling you about what Krishna told. Krishna, what did he say? Krishna said, okay, this embodied self is something which is not going to die. It is there, it is eternal, it is avinashi. Then again he talked about we always existed and we never died. So he was saying that this Atma is something which never dies. And then again, because of that, I was giving you some background of what the Upanishads say about what is this, what is the self, and what is the supreme reality, what is this individual self, and what is the relationship between this individual self and that supreme reality. We are supposed to know that. So in the last episode, at the end of the episode, I was just trying to tell you what is the supreme reality. So there, in one of the Upanishads, because this BhagavadGeetha is something to be a summary of all the Upanishads. It is not as though it is proclaiming something new. For all of us who will not be able to read the Upanishads, reading BhagavadGeetha, not by ourselves, reading BhagavadGeetha should not be done however intelligent we may be, because it is my own experience. I was considering myself to be a very, very intelligent, very sharp-minded man, and for quite a long time I was trying to read Gita along with the commentaries. And every time I was hitting a blank wall, because it looks as though it is okay, but then I am not getting a comprehensive picture of it. Somewhere Krishna seems to be saying something, and somewhere else he seems to be saying something else. So it appears rather discordant. So the way we have to read Gita is, you have to read it in front of a guru, in the sense that you have to go to a teacher who is capable of teaching. Of course, nowadays there are some websites also. For example, there is one gentleman in Chennai, one Paramarthananda. So he has taught this Gita word by word, everything, Bhashyam also, all the commentaries word by word he taught. So somebody like that, you can get hold of those things, you can go to that particular website, and then you can listen to say the lessons. Or if we are lucky enough to go to a teacher, and then if the teacher is competent to tell us, that is the way we have to listen. So anyway, I am giving you a very brief picture of what our Upanishads say. So I was telling you in the last episode about what is the nature of Brahman. Brahman, in one Upanishad called Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahman is defined as Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, the infinitely existing consciousness. So that is what I explained in the last episode, why it is called existence, why it is called intelligence, and why it is called infinity. So it is infinity. The infinity, you just try to speculate on what is infinity. In order to know what is infinity, we have to just speculate on what is this space. So the more we think about the space, the more number of galaxies, the more number of beyond galaxies and whatever thing you see. And if you see what is this Carl Sagan's cosmos, or nowadays there is another gentleman, Neil somebody. So if you see those cosmos series, then you will see the vastness of the universe. And that vastness of the universe is what is called the Brahma. That supreme reality is called that vastness, which is of the nature of consciousness, which is not jadam, which is not insentient. So that is what they said. Then what is this creation then? We are finding this creation, we are finding so many galaxies, so many stars, so many human beings, lives and all whatnot. Then what do Upanishads say? For example, one Upanishad says, from this consciousness which is called Atma, Atmana Akasha Sambhutah, it says, from in that Atma, this space, what we call space, Akasha, Sambhutaha. Sambhutaha means it emerged. It is not saying that God created space. There is no person called God who is creating, who is doing some magic and creating something. From that supreme consciousness, this space appeared. Atmanaha Akashaha Sambhutaha. Then Akashad Vayuhu, it says. From that space, airs came into existence. Airs came into existence, and then Vayoho Agnihi. From that Vayu, from those airs, Agni, fire came into existence. So obviously we have to think that there were some hot airs, and then from that hot airs in the form of fire, and then that fire became slowly fluid, that is, it became watery, and then that fluid became solid. What is that? Akashad Vayuhu, Vayor Agnihi, Agnehe Apaha, that is fluid. Adbhyaha Pruthivi. From that fluid it became Pruthivi, means a solid matter. And then in that solid matter, Prithivya Oshadhaya, all the plant kingdom has come in that say solid matter. And Oshadhibhyo Annam, and all this plant kingdom, they served as the food. The whole the world which is created, it is full of plants. You visualize what the Upanishadic Rishi is saying, and we will wonder how this Upanishadic Rishis got this sort of visualization. Initially that some airs, and then that fire getting becoming fluid, and fluid becoming solid, and solid in that Prithivya Oshadhayaha. Oshadhi means all the plant kingdom. Oshadhibhyo Annam, all this plant kingdom is becoming Annam. Annam means food. And Annat Purushaha, and from that the Jiva. Purusha does not mean a man. Purusha, in Telugu we say Purusha means a man. Purusha and Stri. It is not Purusha and Stri. Purusha means human, any living being. Puri Shete iti Purusha, there is a definition for that. I will not go into that. Purusha refers to any living being. Starting from, I told you, Jiva means starting from an ant to a dinosaur. We have to take from, not even an ant, a small bacteria to dinosaur. All these things, and also all the trees and plants, because they also have life, they also have intelligence. Trees also have intelligence. That is what we say. So anyway, all these things, they came into existence. Prithivya Oshadhaya, from Annam, Annat Purushaha. So that is what it says. This is something which is surprising. In fact, in science we come across one hypothesis called the nebular hypothesis. Initially the whole universe was in the shape of a nebula, hot airs and all that. Those hot airs slowly condensed, and then it became all this. So if you keep this Taittiriya Upanishad, say section 2, mantra 1, you can just refer to it in Google also. Say Taittiriya Upanishad, part 2, the first mantra, it talks about Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, how this say the universe has come into existence. And then we have no conflict with the Darwin also. Darwin also says it has evolved. And the Upanishad also is saying that all these things, they appeared, they slowly came into existence, or one after the other. One is the cause, the other is the effect. From this becomes the cause, there is an effect. This becomes the cause, and there is an effect. So like that, one after the other, this sort of evolution has come, and we have no conflict either with Darwin or with say nebular hypothesis. Anyway, that's not the matter. We have to see the overall approach. If we see the overall approach of the Upanishadic Rishis, they did not say, oh, this is what is God, this is what I am telling you, this is the truth, you have to jolly well believe in this. They don't say like that. One Upanishad say one son, his name is called Bhrigu. Bhrigu goes to his father and then says, "Oh father, tell me what is the supreme reality." Adhihi Bhagavo Brahmeti. Oh Lord, you tell me what is that Brahman. Then the father, he doesn't say this is this and this. So he says, you have to think and realize Brahma. Nobody can tell you what is Brahma. It is not like an examination paper which I can leak it out to you and then you can pass in the exam. It is not like that. Brahma is not like that. It's not like some UPSC or IIT examination paper which can be leaked out. So he says, Tapasa Brahma Vijijñāsasva. Tapasa. Tapas means alochana. Alochana means thinking. By meditation, by thinking, you realize. How are you going to think? You have got your mind, which is the laboratory. So that is what he says. Annam pranam chakshur mano vachamiti. You have got this annamaya sharira, you have got this prana. Prana means this energy body, this physical body, and inside there is an energy body. Annam pranam chakshushrotram, that is, you have got the 5 senses, and then mind is there, and then you have got the organs of action, vacham, walk. You have got the organs of action, you have got the sense organs, that is sense organs which perceive say things, and then you have got the mind which collates the information. So with all this you think and realize. So that is what the father says. So the approach is that you have to think and then realize. So coming to this question about what is creation, so then a question comes. Suppose we say that God or somebody has, this is all high, I mean it may be abstract, it may be very, very abstract, but I can't help, because Krishna is saying this, and if I don't tell this, I will be skipping all this. You see, nowadays you find the Gita teachers talking about management. They take some shloka like Uddhared Atmana Atmanam. Okay, you have to help yourself, nobody is going to help you. Okay, you can find a wonderful, you can draw a diagram, and then you can say, okay, Krishna is talking about management. Krishna is not talking about management. If I say that Bhagavad Gita is talking about management, I am doing a great disservice. So management may be there in the sense that when he talks about human nature, when he talks about what is right, what is wrong, when he talks about the sattva, rajas, tamo, guna, etc., management may be there, that is implied, but he is not mentioning that. He is telling certain things which are about Jiva, which are about Brahma, the supreme reality, etc. We can't gloss over them. So anyway, so that is the reason why I am saying this. So coming back to what Krishna is saying, what is creation? Suppose you say God has created. So if somebody, this is something similar to a potter has created a pot. So if a potter has created a pot, then you know this potter means somebody, he is an intelligent being, he is not a fool. So he has an idea of what a pot should be, what should be the purpose, how the pot has to be made, and for what purpose. The neck should be some small, and then maybe you have to tie a rope, or you have to carry it properly, and then it should be say round enough. So he has an idea of what that pot is, and then he takes some material, he takes some raw material, and then with that raw material he tries to create, and then he has some other equipments. Okay, he has some other equipments, and then with the help of all that equipment he creates a pot, and that pot is the effect. So this material cause, what is the material cause? The material which he has taken, that is the clay. There is, then the potter himself is there. Clay itself is not becoming that pot. There is somebody who is turning this or transforming this clay into the pot. So there is somebody who is somebody. He is called the intelligent cause, and this material called material cause. There is an intelligent cause and there is a material cause, and then ultimately there is an effect. Suppose we apply this to say the God. In the case of potter, potter is different from clay. Potter is not clay. So clay and potter may be one. Clay and pot are one, there is no doubt. But then this potter and this clay, they are different in the case of potter. But in the case of God, okay, you visualize that there is a God and then he is making it. Then where is the material which is apart from him? Because this Brahma is something which is infinite in nature. This is consciousness, this is pure intelligence or consciousness or knowledge. Of course, these are all synonyms. So this consciousness, how is it creating? Is there a material separately? So that is why they said, our Upanishads say, there cannot be something which is apart from this, because there is something which is infinite. In that infinite, there is nothing beyond the infinite. When you say that Brahman is infinite, there cannot be anything apart from infinite. So whatever creation we see is an appearance within that consciousness. It is an appearance within that consciousness. So now we have come to the question, we have come to a statement like, so this consciousness is somehow it is transforming or appearing or changing, or rather just appearing, it is a manifesting or just a phenomena. Nowadays we talk about a science called phenomenology, not science, it is not a new science, it is one branch in philosophy, phenomenology. Phenomenologists, say now the 20th century phenomenologists, they also talk something similar to what Vedanta says. In fact, they have drawn from Vedanta only. Say what Vedanta says, they say in slightly modern terms. So, now the question is, the same consciousness is appearing as this universe. So, that means the consciousness which is there in every being, in every living being, as the consciousness which is there in my mind, which is there in your mind, which is there in the mind of an ant, which is there in the mind of say bacteria, which is there in the mind of a dinosaur, the same consciousness is appearing as all this. So, that is what is the ultimate say derivation which we can come up. Otherwise, you can't say that this material is something different and God is something different, Jiva is something different. You can't say like that. So, here so eventually all the physicists nowadays, now with the advent of science, and we are not against science as I said, and science is nowadays saying what Vedanta is saying. All the physicists and then the neuroscientists, psychologists, all these people are trying to probe, trying to know what exactly is this consciousness. If you try to see the theories of consciousness, what are the theories of consciousness, what are the theories of consciousness in Vedanta, what are the modern consciousness theories, etc., etc., it is something which is mind-boggling. So, this attention on what is intelligence, it was not there in the Western world till about 18th century. Whereas, our say people, right from the time of Upanishads, not only in Upanishads, we find in Buddhism, we find in Jainism, we find every branch of Indian philosophy discussing this. So, anyway, that we can keep it aside. It has now become a sort of multidisciplinary say task, a field in which so many disciplines are now gathering, so many disciplines are now trying to know what exactly this is. So, ultimately what does this, what do the Upanishads say? Because this consciousness alone is there manifest in every being, you as self is not, you are not different from that supreme consciousness. So, this is what we have to see. So, ultimately this jiva which is there, which is a mixture of this body-mind complex and consciousness, there is a mixture of body-mind complex and the consciousness or knowledge. So, this thing is not different from that supreme consciousness. So, that is what ultimately they say, and how they come to that. There is again the Upanishads and then the commentators on Upanishads, they have elaborated on that. I will not go into that. If you want to know how they equate this jiva with that supreme reality, we have to read a couple of Upanishads. I will leave at this because this is a very highly technical subject and people can run away. So, now again we'll continue to see what Krishna says in the same tone. Now, with all this background in the last episode and the present episode, you will be able to appreciate, you will be able to understand that Krishna is not saying something nonsense. Krishna is saying something which is at least understood by Arjuna. You and I may not understand right now. We may understand it after studying it for some more time, after studying it more elaborately, under the guidance of a guru, under the guidance of somebody who explains every word of this, because every word counts here, every word has to be explained here. So, anyway, he continues to say, Antavanta ime deha nityasyo, this is the 18th shloka, all these bodies, they are all dying in nature, but then anashinaha aprameyasya, but then the consciousness which is there in that, the dehi or the jivatma as you say, that atma which is associated with this body-mind complex is not something which is never going to die. Then yayenam vetti hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam. So, here again we miss one word. This is 18th shloka. There is one important say tag in that particular shloka. It says anashinaha aprameyasya tasmad yudhyasva bharata. It says, O Bharata, Bharata means, O Arjuna, who is you are a person who is born in that Bharata clan. Krishna frequently addresses Arjuna as Bharata. Bharata means you are a person descending in that Bharata, descendant of that Bharata clan. So, that is what it means. So, Tasmad Yudhyasva Bharata, O Bharata, you fight. So, Krishna is saying you fight. So here we can mistake that Krishna is provoking Arjuna to fight. In fact, people have mistaken. In fact, you might have heard that people have termed Bhagavad Gita as a book which is provoking war. In fact, in Russia or some place, somebody filed a case in the court of law saying that Bhagavad Gita is a text which is provoking terrorism. What an absurd thing, and then the court dismissed it, and that's a different thing. But then this line can be misunderstood. In fact, the commentators, we do not know how they visualized it. The commentators have very clearly said, for example, Shankaracharya or any other commentator, they said, when Krishna is saying Tasmad Yudhyasva, you fight, he is not prompting Arjuna for war. He is only reminding him of his duty. Natra yuddha kartavyata vidhiyate. So that is what commentators write. That is, it is not being told you have to jolly well do war. He is not saying like that. He is only reminding. You yourself, you came to me, you yourself requested me, you asked me to be your charioteer, and then you have mobilized armies, and then you are here, and then you are now confused. This is not proper. So that is what he says. Tasmad yudhyasva bharata. And then he says, yayenam vetti hantaram, yasyainam manyate hatam. The man who thinks that it is killed, the man who thinks that I am killed, both are ignorant. So this language of killing and all that, it is not as though Krishna is saying you can kill and then nothing will happen. It's not like that. The language in the Upanishads also, where, for example, there is an Upanishad called Kathopanishad. There again, a similar, almost the same line happens. Yayenam vetti hantaram yasyainam manyate hatam. This Atma is something which cannot be killed. Atma is something which cannot be destroyed. So they are using these terms called killing, etc., just to make a point in a very, very effective way. To make some point in a very, very effective way, they are saying that, okay, you just cannot say that it is killed. It is not going to kill anybody, it is not going to be killed. So that language is something which is not mentioned in Gita alone, it is mentioned in the Upanishads also. So that is what we have to see. Then he continues to say, Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya, navani grunhati naroparani, etc., etc. Just as you discard your old shirt and then put on some new shirt, similarly, the Dehi, this Atma, this Jiva, he transmigrates to some other body and then he discards this body. So it is not telling about the consciousness which is migrating, it is telling about the Jivatma. Jivatma is different, slightly different. There is a slight difference. Here we have to understand a concept called subtle body. Then again it is a slightly different concept, which maybe I will explain in the next episode, because Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya, it is talking about the concept of subtle body. I will have to explain it a little bit, otherwise we will be confused as to what is this transmigration. We will have to know, because at the end of the Gita, if we don't even know what is this transmigration, then what is this karma, why are we doing this karma, all these things, there will be confusion. We will continue in the next episode. Om.